While still drowsy from anesthesia, my phone buzzed with a notification instead of a call. Amidst the sea breeze, a picture arrived: champagne flutes, white linen, and the expansive ocean that seemed to finally embrace its own lie. I scrutinized the time stamp, then my account balance, as the painkiller's effects began to fade. I used to think loyalty was an inherited trait, that it flowed within our bloodstream, carrying rules with it. My father taught me how to manage finances before he showed me how to shave. He claimed readiness was love in a functional guise. When he remarried, I tried to apply the same principles. My stepmother smiled first with her teeth, leading me to convince myself that meant kindness. When my appendix burst, it was my father who urged me to have an emergency fund card as a precaution. He made it sound like concern, like a safeguard. I complied because doubt is costlier than trust, and I was weary. I granted them access. That was my error as well as theirs. The initial clue wasn't the transaction, it was the quietude. After waking up from surgery, I messaged my father. No reply. I attributed it to sleep, anxiety, or traffic. I concocted tales that didn't blame anyone. Then the pharmacy rejected my card. A temporary issue, I presumed. Machines err. People don't, not like that. But then a picture arrived. A vacation I couldn't afford, paid for with money intended to save my life. I scrutinized the reflection in the backdrop's glass. My father's smile wasn't serene, it was relieved. It seemed he had finally spent something he resented. An hour later, my stepmother texted, "You don't need it anyway. You're young, you'll recover." I remained silent, didn't weep, and didn't confront. Control returned when I stopped reacting. They didn't know I had transferred my true savings weeks beforehand earlier. The card they used was a lure, a diversion I kept active because I learned to anticipate disillusionment long before surgery taught me about pain. I made discreet calls. I documented everything. Timestamps, monetary records, screenshots, not anger. Proof. Anger dulls clarity. I held back, let them revel in the sea, let them upload sunsets, let them believe they had conquered something they were owed. Those who rob from their own offspring fear repercussions. They dread exposure. I gave them room to swell with pride. Then I yanked out the foundation. The bank froze the account. The vendor overturned the charges. The cruise company flagged the reservation. I didn't condemn. I reported a stolen card. Even tone, precise execution. The truth doesn't require amplification. Their vessel never left the harbor. I envisioned the broadcast reverberating through the terminal. Polite, regretful, conclusive. I imagined my father's visage as the teachings he once imparted returned to claim him. He contacted me then at last. "Why would you do this?" he inquired, as if I had pilfered from him. I listened to his respirations, tallied the silences. I remained silent. "The money wasn't necessary, you understood," my stepmother interjected, as sharp as shattered glass. I smiled, alone, healing. I let the silence respond. A week later, we met in a public place, daylight. I desired witnesses to their fall apart. My father seemed diminished, my stepmother enraged. That was the way things should have been all along. I pushed a folder across the table. Inside were copies, transactions, access logs. An attorney's letter explaining terms like unauthorized and liability in clear, unforgiving ink. "I trusted you," my father stated, as if trust could be lost and then found under the couch cushions. "No," I replied. "One word, precise weight, you assumed." The understanding came in stages, first denial, then fear, then a shame that doesn't ask for forgiveness. It calculates the damage. I stood before they couldn't make a deal. "You taught me to prepare," I said. "This is me prepared." Healing is simpler when the wound finally heals over. They no longer call. Not out of regret, but caution. That's why they acted. The family storyline underwent an unauthorized transformation beyond their grasp. Inquiries were inevitable, traced through trails of paperwork. I utilized my actual savings for relocation. A new address, new locks, and a new set of regulations. These became the norm. As I discarded their burden, my recovery pace quickened. Occasionally, I contemplate the ocean they never crossed. So near to breaking free, yet so underestimated by entitlement. I bear no remorse. I feel completed. Deception provided me a lesson that surgery couldn't. Pain can be endured. However, trust once severed doesn't regenerate. Instead, it becomes sharper, and never have I been more exact.